And we're the Cousins Weird. And it's Terrible Trend time.
Woohoo! Yay!
Terrible Trend 31. And we're live on Facebook, as per mostly usual. So if you're on Facebook, you see this. This will air on Thursday. And if you're listening to this, you're hearing it Thursday, and we recorded it Sunday, but you can watch the live on
our
Facebook page. So not to confuse you at all. Hi, it's my husband, I think. It's the husband's weird is liking our...
Hi, Richard.
Hi, Richard. All right, so I'm going to pull up my episode here on my thing because my phone died, and I usually read off my phone, but I have to use my, whatever, this is a laptop. That's the name.
That's it. It's the top lap.
It's the top. So, today, for episode 31, I'm going to share with you how the Anglo Saxons...
We have not been drinking.
You've been drinking. Oh, no, we haven't been drinking. You're drunk, probably, because you're watching football, but I have not been drinking, sir. So, we're going to talk about how the Anglo Saxons treated female issues. Female issues. I'm quoting air, if you can't see me.
Air quote.
Specifically having to do with childbirth or female problems.
Yes.
So this is during the 5th to the 11th centuries in England, okay? This is way back when. This is old times.
Dark ages shit.
The dark ages shit, okay? Childbirth and female issues were very dangerous. We know this in history, right? We know childbirth is very dangerous. Not understood, and the medical world was rather barbaric at the time. They didn't have much knowledge about anything, really. They were trying the weirdest shit, and we've done terrible trends on the weird shit.
We've talked about some of the weird shit
that they've done. So we know that this isn't going to be good, right?
Just gotta find a king and have him touch you.
Yeah, I mean, no big deal.
King's touch.
Many graves that archaeologists have dug up from that time, they found women that were pregnant with a fetus in her uterus, transverse, and sometimes extruded, which is the post-mortem excrusion or coffin birth. If the mother died during childbirth, she was buried and her body decomposes. The gas builds up. Putrefaction causes the fetus to be expelled from the vagina.
That's horrible.
I can't even handle it. It's terrible. I read that and I almost died right then.
That's awful. They
say that happens between 48 and 72 hours after death. And the biggest cause of death of women at the time was childbirth. So it's not surprising they had some specific instructions to care for women with child. Like, there's specific things that they thought. And wait till you hear them. We're going to help women. Anyway.
Richard's out. Bye.
So during that time, they use rituals and metrical charms instead of science. So it's like a magic mix with religion. They use a lot of stuff like that. Some of it actually is like homeopathic things that people use now. Like they did discover things that actually work.
Like herbs and things like
teas. But there's some other shit that... So metrical charms were a set of instructions that were kind of poetic. There was like a poetry to it. Kind of like a magical ritual that was used to cure a bad situation or disease. And they were originally written in Old English. I'm gonna read to you the metrical charm number 6, because there's several numbered charms that they did for lots of different reasons. But we're focusing on women and childbirth and women issues. So this is for delayed birth.
Oh no!
The woman who cannot bring her child to term. So if she gets pregnant and then miscarries, basically, or the baby is stillborn in some way, she must go to a dead man's grave, step 3 times over the grave, and say these words 3 times.
Oh,
lots
God.
of threes. This as my help against the evil late birth. This as my help against the grievous dismissal birth. This as my help against the evil lame birth. They use this 3 times thing a lot, and they're tying it in with like the Holy Trinity, and they're trying into Christianity, but really it sounds very
witchy,
pagan, right?
Yeah,
but they tied it all in because I think at this point they were trying to get pagans to be Christians still. You know, they're still, so they're kind of utilizing their rituals with Christianity. And like researchers have said that it's very symbolic of stepping into from the living world to the dead world, stepping out of the grave and leaving the problem of not being able to carry a child in the dead world.
Give it to the corpse.
Give it to the corpse. Okay. Give it to this dead world. We're going to leave it there. So she's technically in the dead world now, wandering about. Even though she's not. She's really just right there.
Yeah, hopping
over a grave.
Back and forth over a grave.
Like a weirdo.
Okay.
So, and then when the woman is with child, so she gets pregnant, after she does that, all of a sudden she gets pregnant again at some point.
It's magic.
It works. Magic.
Yes.
She goes to the bed with her husband. Lord.
With her lord.
He's a husband, all right? He's no lord. And then she has to do this. She has to step over him in bed.
Maybe they mean with God, with her lord.
No,
God.
It was really a husband.
Her
I just
husband,
didn't put
okay.
It was husband. One of the books I read actually talks specifically that was meant to. You called your husband your lord.
Oh yes.
It's not happening, Richard. So she'll step over her husband in bed, and she will say 3 times, "Up I go. I step over you. With a live child, not a dying one. With a full-born child, not with a doomed one." So they're saying, now she's leaving because her husband's alive, and she's stepping over him. My husband's telling me he wants me to refer to him as a lord.
Henceforth.
He's such an ass. Not happening. So you say those things, and now she's stepping back into the living world, right? Leaving her bad stuff in the dead world, going back to the living world.
Step on your husband as you're
I know, because then he's going to die, and it's going to ruin the whole thing.
Or you'll make it so he can't give you children.
And basically she's manifesting that shit. She's like, this baby's going to be okay.
So pagan.
It's very pagan. You're manifesting. You're acting like it's already happened. So we know manifesting, you know? And when she feels the baby, so she's pregnant, she does that. The second she finds that she's pregnant, she does that. That brings her back to the living world. Then she has to solidify it with her faith. So she needs to go to the church. So she's like, I have this baby. My belly's starting to grow. If the baby's alive, she must go to the church. And when she comes in front of the altar, she has to say, Christ, I said, make this known. That's what she said. Okay. This is the end of the charm. It ends with her faith in church. So that's a charm to make sure if you had a stillbirth, miscarriage, anything like that, you must do these things.
Now people didn't know how to read back then, really. Now
I think it was very oral tradition.
Yeah, that's a lot to remember.
That's a lot to remember.
Yeah, and it's like, you have to wait till this, and you have to do this, and then you gotta wait. What if you got it wrong? I guess it doesn't matter. It didn't work anyway.
I mean, it really wasn't doing anything.
No.
Made him probably feel better.
Yeah,
which is really what
right.
we want, right? You want them to at least feel good. So, the woman who cannot bring her child to term, so if she has another stillborn or something happens, she must take part of the grave of her own child, wrap it up in a black wool, and sell it to merchants.
So they chanted, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Richard's drunk. So they have to say when they sell their dead baby bits to the merchants that are wrapped in wool. I don't know if they mean part of the grave, like the dirt.
They probably mean the dirt. Yeah.
Not really the baby.
And the seeds.
Yeah, they have to say, I sell it. You must sell it. This black wool and seeds of this grief. So she sells it to the merchant, and he must sell it to someone else for her to get rid of the grief that she's feeling, basically. Like, this will remove the grief and make me healthy. What if you can't sell the
dead grave dirt to someone else? What if they don't want your dead grave dirt?
I don't know, but she tells him he must.
He must.
You must!
Mm-hmm.
There's another. If a woman cannot nourish, which I first thought they meant feed, like breastfeed, but it really meant nourishing the fetus, like can't bring to term.
Right.
The child to term must take milk of a cow of one color, so one solid colored cow.
Okay.
Not a spotted cow.
No.
In her hand, sip a little, then go to running water and spit the milk in it. And then, with the same hand, she must take a mouthful of water and swallow it. Let her then say these words. I carried this strong one with me everywhere. Strong because of this great food. Such a one I want to have and go home with.
This is a lot of work.
Like, how do you remember all this stuff?
I don't know.
When she goes to the stream, though, she must not look around. Nor again, when she goes away from there, she can't turn around. Don't look backwards. Let her go into a home other than her own, from which she started, and there she must eat. So she has to eat at someone else's house after she's done. Very specific.
Do you have to set it up ahead of time, or you just like
show up? I don't know. It didn't
with, like,
give me
milk and water dripping down your face and like
crazy.
a hand all crazy.
I gotta eat in your house.
Feed me.
Don't let me look at the stream.
Feed me, Seymour.
Yeah. So these are some more remedies for a difficult birth. A woman must eat the letters in the words Sator, Arpo, Tenant, Opera, Rotas, which that roughly translates to form of work, which is a palindrome.
Okay.
Which means it spelt the same frontwards as backwards. It's a sentence that's spelt the same frontwards and backwards. So it's no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah, if you turned it.
Yeah, if you turned it around, it would be.
Right.
So you write that stuff in cheese or butter and then eat it. And then you wouldn't have a difficult birth.
You have to write that in cheese
or butter.
And then eat it.
Eat it.
Okay.
Yeah. No big deal.
A lot. That's a lot.
Now, this one I'm not sure what you have to do. It says, or take a string of letters. The string of letter needs to be drank from another woman's milk. So you gotta get breast milk and squeeze it into a cup and then put a string of letters, which I don't know what the string of letters are made of. I tried to find it. I couldn't figure it out, but maybe they're just writing it down.
Weird.
And they have to drink it. Or use the skin of a snake as a birthing girdle. No, thank you.
No, that's like when they use a dead man's skin around the waist.
Yeah.
They're using a dead snake skin.
And they would write the charms on them sometimes. And if a woman, it says, if a woman travailing with child girds this measure about her womb, she shall be delivered safely without peril. And I put, no way are you putting a snake skin on me, because I can't handle snakes.
If you had a choice between a dead man's skin or a snake skin, I would pick the snake skin.
I would pick the dead man.
I wouldn't want to wear a dead man's skin.
I can't handle snakes. I have a horrible phobia.
Your husband says you just had to be pregnant lady ready at all
times. So we're going to move on to the menstrual cramps. Okay. If you had bad crampies, we get that. Now we have Midol.
Yeah. And heating pads.
They didn't have that then. Thing. So this makes perfect sense. I can see how this works perfectly. When you see a dung beetle throwing up the earth, which means coming up from the ground, grab it with 2 hands along with its dung ball. It's a big poop ball. Wave with it in your hands. Wave greatly with your hands and say 3 times, Remedium facio ad ventris dolorem. I make a cure for pain in the stomach.
DeLorean. I'm not going back there in a DeLorean. No.
Throw then the beetle over your shoulder onto the way.
With the poop.
See to it that you do not look back at it.
What if it falls on your shirt?
You better not have it happen. In case of a person's stomach or abdomen pain, grab with your hands the stomach, and it will soon be whole for them.
Okay.
You can do this for 12 months after you touch the beetle. So this is for a healer, grabbing the dung beetle, shaking it about, saying those words, throwing it behind them, and then they can cure your cramps.
Magic healing hands.
I can
heal your pain with
doesn't that make perfect sense?
I hope they wash their hands after they were carrying a beetle and its dung around, and your husband liked your face when you were talking about it.
I know, because he knows my thing about snakes, and he thinks it's hysterical. They always talk about you can't look back. Don't look back.
Mm-mm.
They also had several uses for moles, which some people think the dung beetle was mistranslated. It was supposed to be mole, but they said dung ball. So I feel like maybe
moles do not use dung balls.
No. Mole skin would be wrapped around for cramps sometimes.
That's a lot of moles.
Mm-hmm. Because they're not big.
They're little.
They're kind of cute. A bag of mole feet.
If you had to mow your lawn with voles or whatever, making holes in your lawn, you're mowing the lawn, there's moles running. Like
little baby mole.
Yes.
Anyway, or you could carry a bag of mole feet.
lawn digging assholes.
That it could be carried around your neck.
Mole feet?
Yeah, just little mole feet and around your neck so that it would cure your rheumatic pain.
Ew.
They would find a mole, literally wave it around for healing. They think maybe it was to loosen the healing energies that the moles possessed.
Is this mole alive or dead?
This mole's alive.
Oh, it's going to bite you and shit on you.
And you couldn't look at the mole while you're doing it. Don't look at it. Because if you looked at it, the energy could go back into the mole. They felt moles had this healing power that could be harnessed by a healer. And if you held a mole in your hand, squeezing it until it died.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
That hand would now be full of healing powers. Just squeeze it.
Ew, that's a mess.
That's just mean.
And it's terrible.
I don't want to
squeeze a mole to death.
Either.
Even though they are digging up my lawn.
I can deal with the cramps,
I
okay?
Don't want to squeeze
I don't need it. For a woman's madness, which we're thinking we were talking about, like, PMS. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let her eat radish root at night while having fasted for the day, and the madness may not harm you. Yeah, I think they're telling your husband that. I'm sorry
if I was having PMS and you told me I couldn't eat all day and then gave me radishes, I'd be pissed.
The madness will harm you.
It will definitely harm you. Give me something more than this.
Yes. You better give me some chocolate.
And the stew and all that other stuff. Like, no.
If a woman's period was absent, you boil ale in speedwell, which is a creeping pink or blue flower, and 2 centauries, which basically is agave. So it's sweet. Give it to the drink and bathe the woman in hot bath and let her drink the drink in the bath. Have already make for yourself a poultice of beer dregs, which is the yeast sediment, from green mugwort and celery, and from barley meal mixed to get them together, stir together in a pan and coat or smear into the genital area.
What?
Or onto the lower part of the vagina. Then, when she gets out of the bath, have her drink a cupful of the same drink warm, cover the woman well, and let her be thus daubed for a long time in the day. So keep that poultice on your
bit,
your hooch,
and your hoo-ha.
Your coochie poultice. Keep your coochie poultice on.
They didn't wear underwear back then. How are you supposed to keep it up there?
You gotta lay there with it on.
Oh, yeah. Well,
covered up.
Supposed to do all
Don't
your
move.
Work? Must be this for rich women.
Yeah, you're laying in the heel.
The poor ladies, when their period stopped, they were hallelujah, no more kids.
I know.
They had a house full already.
So you have to do this twice or thrice, as you may have, but you mustn't make the bath and give the drink to the woman at the same time, or you must make the bath and give the drink at the same time as she normally would have her period. So you got to ask the lady, when's your normal period? And then you must do it that time, not any other time. Now, if that doesn't work, this one will definitely work.
Oh, God.
Take fresh horse droppings. Lay it onto hot coals and let the smoke well between the thighs upwards under the clothing so that the person should sweat greatly.
Sweat from horse dung.
Horse dung smoke to your vagina will cure your period will come. I would tell him I had my period. Yep, got my period. Don't do that. Thanks.
You imagine how bad that smelled?
It had been awful.
Fresh horse shit and letting the smoke.
Then you're just sitting there going like this over it with your skirt. And a lot of times back then, the reason why she didn't have a period is because she was malnourished. Give her the food. Instead of putting it on her vagina, let her eat it.
They wouldn't let her eat it all day because then she had PMS and then they only gave her a radish. Those bastards.
So anyway, that's basically it. So I'm glad I live in a time with science and medicine and all that shit because, and childbirth isn't dangerous. Like I said, like there was a lot of knowledge about herbs then and how herbs did help. And some of the herbs that they were using as a poultice would have helped with some things if it was done right.
If they had ate it like a tea.
Yeah, made a tea instead of putting it on your vagina and ingest it instead.
Yeah, like raspberry leaf tea.
Or like they did use a lot of things that people to this day, like if you're doing more homeopathic things, which I totally believe in 100%.
Me too.
That can work, but don't put horse poop on coals or don't do any of the things that they did.
Smoking horse poop. That's just
don't put a poultice of anything on your vagina.
No,
because I feel like you're just gonna create some kind of bacterial infection. Dung beetles aren't going to cure your cramps.
They're not.
Stepping over a grave isn't going to do nothing for you.
Same with moles. Leave the moles in the ground.
Don't squish a mole.
Don't wave them around your head and then squish them to death.
Yeah.
That's not going to help anybody.
I was really happy, though, because the book that I got most of the information out of was the Old English Remedies, Mandrake, Wormwood, and Raven's Eye by Sinead Spearing is where I got most of the information for this. She had a bunch of different...
That sounds like a good
So
book.
I got all my notes from it, right? And then I went back to get the title and stuff to put in here, and on script it says you don't have access to this in your country. So I was able to read the whole section on this. It's called, what was the name of this chapter? Dead Man's Grave, I think. And I got most of the information from that. But then it all of a sudden wasn't available in our country, which I don't understand why. So I'm glad I was able to get what I got from it. And then there was actually a woman did her thesis on it from graduate school, and she did the indexing of medieval women, the feminine tradition of medical wisdom in Anglo Saxon England, and the MetricalCharms, which I kind of want to do a whole episode on the MetricalCharms because they're fast. Like, it's just crazy the stuff they thought of would be kind of funny to do like a regular episode or maybe a bonus episode.
Yeah. Your turn. It's your turn.
It's my turn to do a bonus episode. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
I have like 5 of them. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. I haven't done it yet.
I want to do.
That's it. That's what they did for childbirth, and none of that works, so don't do it.
Please don't.
If you'd like to see pictures from this episode, you should go to Facebook. You should follow us on Facebook and Instagram because we post the pictures from our episodes on there, and our episodes post to there, so you can share them to your socials, to all your friends. So you should definitely follow us on those.
Yep, and if you want to send us an email, you can actually reach out to us through Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, if you'd like. And if you don't want to do that, you can send us an email at thecousinsweird@gmail.com.
And if you want to financially support The Cousins Weird because you think we're really cool, you can go to patreon.com/thecousinsweird. And for only $1, super cheap, a month.
You're a freaky friend.
You're a freaky friend, and you get a free sticker, and you get bonus episodes. And then if you really want to really, really help us, it's $5 a month. You become a
terrible trender.
And you get the same thing as a freaky friend, but you also get ad-free episodes, a yearly gift, and then a monthly chat with us and other patrons. That is like a Zoomed thing together.
Yes.
We just
once
hang out. And we can talk about the episodes we did that month, or we can talk about anything you want to talk about.
It'll be fun.
Anything.
Yeah.
You can share your favorite recipe. I don't care.
And please like us, follow us, share our posts. That's the best way to support us, is to share us with your friends and go on your favorite podcast platform and rate us, like us, follow us.
Yeah, when you rate us, it increases our chance of being recommended to someone else that listens to things like we do. So if you rate us on there and you listen to us on there, it boosts other listens for us, which is what we want because we love doing this.
We do.
And we love you guys that listen. So thank you so much.
Yes.
That's right.
Stay freaky.
Bye. Bye.